All right, Shalom. For the phones, we give our praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwada, double honor to the apostle and the elders of the great millstone, and to Allah, Prophet Grove, pushing the word of truth and sincerity, want to say Shalom. We're watching a documentary on bears, and they try to spin the narrative like the Lord don't know what he's doing. You know, the bears are going through a famine. Um, the famine wasn't running at the approximate time. You know, and the bears are getting skinny and all that, and 2 months later, the salmon came and the bears are okay. But the narrator of the documentary, was talking about more focused on the fishermen who are out there in the big drag nets and swooping up tons and tons and tons of salmon. And we know that salmon and fish are plentiful and bountiful, and despite how many bears eat that salmon, it's not going to put a dent in the population. So Esau was more concerned about his money, his livelihood. You know, I was watching the little shorts on, sea lions entering into the bays and into the rivers of California, and they're eating sturgeon. And the uh, California Wildlife Preservation Group is trying to remove the seals from the rivers in California, man. And and I've been to California. I've been fishing with around sturgeon, and I never caught one personally, but I have seen some seals kill some good fish, man. And but I can't get mad. Before I was in the true, I went crabbing, and we would go crabbing off the pier. And we'll cast our crab nets into the water, and um, you wouldn't be able to pick them up, and that would be an indication that there was a seal eating on the crab bait. Seals are very heavy. But the point being, wildlife is wildlife, and they're going to do what they're designed to do. All right. The Lord is not going to starve the bears out by withholding the salmon. All right. Everything is in the due time and due season. And I believe it's in Wyoming. They're talking about how the wolves are killing all the elks, and they try to say like one one wolf killed enough elk that's costing them $30,000 in elk tags a year. And that's not possible. All right, first of all, elk tag is only $300. All right, so for one wolf to kill off $30,000 worth of elk is highly unlikely and improbable within a year. You got me thinking, man, that these damn devil, man, is is a demon, man. All right, he must be eradicated. Like he's trying to eradicate Jake. All right, he's trying to do the same thing to wildlife, and he has done the same thing to wildlife, infringing on the forest, um, diverting river flows, and creating these dams, which um um which messes up the natural flow, the natural course, all right, of nature. You know. So this is Job 9:24. I'm trying to make it quick. I don't have that much time. Job 9:24 says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It covers the faces of the judges thereof. They're not where and who is he?" And you know that this man has dominion over all the resources of the earth right now, including the lands and the rivers. They go out with these big shipping boats, and they're decimating the crab population, they're decimating the fish population. All right, there have been numerous corroborated reports of the sonars and the ship sonars are disrupting the course of the dolphins and the sharks, where they're been known to run into mountains. They've been known to be disrupted and be confused, not following their migration patterns. All right, so if he's not the devil, then who is, man? This man has must be stopped, man. Look at the Proverbs. Proverbs, let's see. Proverbs 12. It says, Proverbs 12 and 10, it says, a righteous man regardeth the life of his beast. The tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. And you can just go anywhere, man, and look at the zoos and all the captive animals, that are there sitting depressed, And I done learned this recently in my adulthood that, that you go to the zoo and you see all the animals just like lazy and lounging around, all right, looking sad because they drug them up to curb their natural instinct of running and jumping and roaring, all right, being themselves, and they confine them in these spaces and, they go out in the nature and they're just like taking animals away, babies away from their parents, and the thing is that the Lord has everything in perfect balance. If there's a wounded duck or a wounded animal or an orphan animal in the wild, I mean, that's just the way the Lord made it, man. Nature gonna be nature, and like life be life, and the same thing happens with these animals, man. The animals go in these zoos, and a lot of these animals are not fit for captivity. They die shortly after. Some of them are unwilling to breed. Okay, that's why when the world goes to shit, these zoo animals are gonna be let loose, man. All right, and they're gonna run rampant, and they're gonna be turning on these people, man. You got these animals out here in the zoos or in these circuses. All right, these grizzly bears and these zebras and all these animals that they're whipping, they're starving, they're isolating them. All right, all to make a buck off the entertainment, man. They got these fish farms where they're growing these fish in small enclosures. All right, where they're not able to even swim around and let the water flow freely through their gills. I went to with a brother in Iowa. We went to their state fair one year, and and just to see them how they treat the cows, all right, how they over milk the cows, all right, how they have these cows I'm putting holes in cows and reaching in their side. They say it's to check their digestion and their bloating and all that. But the thing is, if you fed them the right things and let them be animals, all right, not overusing them, they're going to be perfectly okay, man. All right, the Lord is the righteous of all, and He regards the life of the beast, man. All right, you're going to make sure the animals eat. You're going to make sure that they're going to be preserved, because those are part of His creation too. And it's just something that I'm an animal lover, man. I love animals. I love watching. Like right now. I'm just watching these robins and these starlings, um, uh, digging up worms, man, and they're chirping and they're flying around and they're bountiful and they're plentiful. And how much more the Lord is going to take care of us, as if we're not more important than a sparrow, as the scriptures say. But this man must be stopped, man. He puts his greed, his wallet, his pride above the care of the animals that are here to supply us, man. These chicken farms, they're growing these steroid chickens. They're in these barns and these chicken houses where there's no ventilation, there's no sunlight. They're not foraging on the insects and grass, but they're feeding them feed. And you wonder why people are sick, man. And it says the righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel, right? They consider them saving the planet, but they take these animals, they put them in captivity. All right, they put these football-sized dragnets dragging the bottom of the ocean, looking for a particular species of fish, but get all type of byproducts, man, that are also caught up in their net. They got manatees being tails and being cut and scarred by the propellers of these boats. You know, these fishing nets are being wrapped around whales and these dolphins and these turtles, man. You know, then they go out and they try to cut them off. You know, cut these nets off of them. You know, and try to rehab them and all those things, man. Well, you have to do that if you just let nature be nature, man. You know. Let's get let me see. Isaiah 14. Um, Isaiah 14 and 5, it says, the Lord Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Man, the Lord is going to take the authority and the dominion and the crown from these damn Edomites, man. All right? He will smoke the people in wrath with a continuous stroke. He that ruleth the nation's anger is persecuted, none hindereth, man. You know, and not only are you going to take vengeance on the Lord for the thing that he's done to the tribes, but also to the thing that he's done to the earth. The whole earth is at rest and it's quiet. They break forth into singing, man. You know, these animals don't get no rest either, man. They're being bombarded with pollutants. The chemical runoff from these plants are flowing into the rivers and the lakes and the oceans, man. All right. It says, yea, the fir tree rejoiced and at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us, man. And these trees, man, which is the life source of our oxygen, are being cut down by about a football field, man, per minute, man. All right, the amount of paper that I just signed doing my orientation and paperwork that I have doing at class, man, it's a lot, man. You know, the amount of paper that's being thrown away and being used for frivolous things, man. All right, trees are life, man, and they're killing the life source of oxygen from this place, man. And they're gonna be happy. No more axe cutting and no more timber mills, man, like that. They got so efficient to where they got these tree cutters, they're chopping down the timber, picking it up, debarking it, all in one whoop, man. You know, they're gonna be rejoicing. Let's get Revelation. Um, Revelation 18 or 11 and 18. The nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them, destroy the earth, man. All right, you know, and you know the Lord is going to raise up the elect, man. The Lord is going to take the elect and the prophets and the men of the Lord and considerate a definite account. All right, and give us our reward, man, which is dominion and rulership over the kingdom. To show these heathens how to rule, how to treat your animals, man, how to treat people. All right, even in the kingdom after 1,000 years, these other nations are going to go to their land and live according to the law, man, instituted by us. And when they go off, they're going to face the repercussions of that, the repercussions of disobeying the Lord. All right, because they're not going to have the law written on their inward parts like we are. You know, but there ain't going to be no homosexuality in the kingdom, man. No more marrying trees. No more identifying as a thing, a e, a it, or a they. All right, he's gonna destroy them, destroy the earth, man. All right, so with that, I want to say, call out, y'all busting out shy. Don't mind to the apostle and elevated millstone. Till next time, shalom and a bubble ball.